we are down to the final race of this event, the Great Britain Sail Grand Prix, coming up on 1:40 to go. Todd Harris, Freddie Carr, Matt Cornwell with you here in beautiful Plymouth. Freddie, we heard a lot of different accents on SailGP Team USA, so you don't have to be a complete American to be on board that boat.
No, every boat has one wild card on board, but all the rest are from the nation of the flag at the top of the wing. The wild card on board, the American boat that we're on board with here, is Paul Campbell-James, the wing trimmer, and I heard just now he said, I am going to burn this wing sheet out during this race. That means he is going to be pumping his accelerator to get that boat ripping in the light airs.
So here we go with a minute to go before the start of the final race. This is for the honors of taking home the top prize here at the Great Britain Sail Grand Prix. Remember, Bermuda was won by Great Britain, Italy was won by Japan. Can the Americans get the win here in Plymouth?
This is interesting. The French and the Americans are engaged. They've locked horns down at the bottom end of the line, and the Australians that were on board now are sailing loose and free with 37 seconds to go. That gives the Australians a little bit more room to stay on the foil, and the Australians and the French are locked together. A very different strategy of only 3 boats versus 8. We're hearing the dominant voice of Lee McMillan telling Billy Besson to keep the speed. I feel like all the boats are quite a long way away from the line with 19 seconds to go. The Australians are the fastest and the French are in the best position. The Americans might just be stuck in no man land with 10 seconds to go. The Australians are taking a big dive.
And here we go, 5 seconds to go before the line goes white. Did they hit it right? And it looks to be perfect starting for Jimmy Spithill and Team USA. Australia looked to have the momentum but fell off at the last moment.
It's a boat speed race. It's a boat speed race right now between Australia and America. We're on board with America here. Let's see if Paul Campbell-James wears that wing sheet out right now. It doesn't look like he's too dynamic, but they've got good boat speed. They're going to be neck and neck as they hit the yellow circle. Whoever hits that circle first, marks 1. And that's the Australians. Mark 1 now looking to convert that good position onto the downwind. All about the simultaneous jibe that's coming up next.
So on the first gate, it's Australia with the lead. USA second and France in third.
Every race we have seen so far has been won by the guy in the lead who's halfway around the course, who's still in the lead. Is that significant right now? What can the American and the French team do to get ahead of this Australian team? They love being in the lead. Oh, that looks a little bit loose though.
Oh man, he said watch the rudders and shouted no. Oh, he's got no rudders. That means the lift of the rudders, the back of the boat fell out of the sky. That could be the moment that the Americans sail past them. If the Americans stick their jibe, I think we'll have a lead change. And we do have a lead change. The Australians can go from first to third.
That could be the moment of the match as the USA now catapults himself into first place after that mistake. Unfortunate for Australia.
Wow, that was all about pressure, wasn't it? They would have been looking behind. They had the American team right on their hammer, and that forced them into a really bad maneuver.
All right, let's look at it one more time. Exactly what went wrong here for Tom Slingsby.
So as Tom turned down into the jibe, he said, I've lost my rudders, I've lost my rudders. You can see his hand twisting, the wheel shakes in his hand, and you can hear his frustration and look at the disappointment on the trimmer. Nick Hutton's face, he says, I've got no rudders. He mentioned the rudders were a little bit sticky at the end of race 1. And has he just paid for it in the final? This is the view on board the French boat looking at the same incident. Going round Mark 1. Bearing away onto the downwind, so it's all about the jibe that's coming up now as we go back to the live racing with the Americans in the lead.
We have seen this situation before, though, haven't we, gentlemen? This is the same view that we had in Toronto. The Americans had a healthy lead in that race. They hit a submerged object and that cost them the lead. That will be in their minds, but they will want to make amends for that in this race, and they will be chomping at the bit to be in the lead right now.
So in gate number 2, it's America out in front. France coming in second, and Australia after that poor maneuver where they lost control have now slid back to third. This is a very precarious situation for the rest of the fleet. Just 3 boats out on the course, Freddie, so it is wide open. You give Jimmy Spithill that much canvas and that much room, it's a dangerous proposition.
Exactly, we've got 3 boats here that have all been in a podium race so far in season 2. Not one of these boats has won from that podium race. We know the USA could have gone on to win it in Toronto, got some bad luck. back in the lead of this final podium race here in Plymouth. This time, can they convert it? Is it another comeback by Spithill?
Australia, defending champions from last year, looking for a big win here in season 2. The Americans trying to get out the problems they had both in Bermuda and Toronto. And is this the spot? Is this where they get it done?
Well, look at this. There's a huge split. It's a very wide race course. And look at the breeze down the top left-hand corner. It's fairly even, but a second ago we saw about a knot more. Maybe because the French went through attack, but we saw about a knot more over on this left-hand side of the race course. That means they should be a bit of a gain for the French team over the Australians here.
This is really interesting now for me, Matthew. What do American Spithill do as we go on board with Spithill here? Do you cover the French or do you cover the Australians? You can only cover one side of the course. When I say cover, you're going to try and keep your... Whoa, there's a wobble! Oh my goodness, what's happening there? Let's listen on board. Pretty calm. Campbell James says speed built for attack. And there's another rudder conversation there. That was the voice of Ron Kirby's. The rudders are misbehaving today. And what we see by the French popping out behind is the Australians and the French are engaged. And the Americans are sailing by themselves in the lead.
Wow, doesn't it feel nervy out there? We're seeing all forced errors from all these teams.
Look at the speed drop.
Yeah, big
That's
speed
McMillan
drops
saying
coming
we've got a duck on the USA. That means the French have closed right up. We saw from the helicopter shot there, they are neck and neck and neck coming in to the top mark.
I think the Australians are going to be right in this conversation too. They have got that split from these two.
This is a massive moment of the race. We've got the Australians joining from the other side of the race course, and we've got the French and the Americans coming in from the right, and it looks like the right-hand side has paid dividends, but no boats are laying right now. Only the Australians might get through. Both the French and the Americans have got one more attack to do as Jimmy Spithill winds the boat up into attack to face the Australians, but it's the French that have wound up in pressure. It's the French that are on starboard. It's the French that should own this mark, and there is multiple lead changes on leg 3.
Terrible tack by the American team there. Again, under the pressure, they really needed to nail that. They could have made it half the Australian team, but the French getting ahead, they just made that mark. They perfected their lay-line on that last tack, that one extra manoeuvre. Wow, this final was all on, isn't it?
So the USA goes from first to third at the halfway point. France has now taken over the lead, the most consistent boat really all weekend long, and Australia back in the mix after that early issue.
Three-boat finals is where it's at. I just don't know where to look. This race is alive as they sprint downwind in the middle downwind as the French go for a jibe. They need to nail it. We know that it lost the Australians the lead on their first jibe of the first downwind. Let's stay on board, turning the boat. Board lands. Lovely flight control there from Morvan.
Nothing but air. Nothing but air. That's what you want.
Yeah. Wow, high pressure jibe. They got the lead. That jibe was massive. Morvan absolutely nailed it. Nothing but air, man.
It's all about keeping your cool right now, and they're doing it at the moment. They're not renowned for it, the French team. They have brought Lee McMillan in since then. See the true wind velocity across the course there too. The French in slightly more breeze, so maybe it's still slightly favour on that left-hand side. But yeah, just keep the cool, Frenchies. Lee, help them through this, mate.
Coming down.
This is leg 4 of 7. Tight crossing here as Australia will have to go behind the French. And look at the speed the Aussies are carrying right now. Upwards of 55 kilometers an hour.
So they're going to come back together here. We're going to have a silo jibe as Australia and France come back together. France will have the right of way because they're on starboard, as it will be explained in between races. And they are going to split the course again. Here goes the board down on the French. Another high pressure jibes, but the Australians are ripping. The Americans have had a sticky downwind. They're over 100 metres off the back of these two. This is the race for the win in Plymouth.
1, 2, coming out, 1.
Oh man, they go around the leeward marks together onto the final 2 legs of the course. It's going to be about which side the best breeze is on here, man.
This is brilliant, isn't it? This is what we want. Let's get those head-to-heads up if we can, and we'll show you the speeds between the boats in a second. Which side would you pick, Freddie? The left has looked slightly better from what I've seen so far. It's a really wide course though, so anything can happen. Roll the dice, who's going to win this next cross? You never really know who's ahead until it gets to the cross. The Australians will have the right of way when they meet again. French look pretty good in the distance though, over on that left-hand side though. They're carrying on, they've got a longer board from the top line, they're just tacking now. We'll see as they get in towards the middle.
What a comeback by the defending champions from season 2020. Australia looking like the form they had yesterday to start off this event, winning 2 races in a row before falling home and then fighting themselves into the top 3.
Jimmy Spithill on USA is a fighter, isn't he? He was over 100 metres behind the last time we checked, and he's chomping back into this. A 31-metre lead for the Australians over the French, but they will split again. Will Tom Slingsby tack and face them? What's amazing is we've got 2 legs to go, and we really, the entire 3-boat fleet are within 100 metres of each other.
He couldn't tack there, no way. He was too close. If he'd attacked, the French would have rolled over the top of him or underneath him. He would have given up the lead. He had to let the French split out. Spilling was waving the camera blade out the way there. Sorry, guys, but it's all about the TV. There's a lot of people watching this, I'm afraid, Tom. So concentrate on the race. See what the French are doing. Keep that boat whipping if you're going to win this race.
Local boy Nick Hutton there popped up before the tank, sailing in the waters where he learned to sail. What a win this would be for him. He's the Australian wildcard. It's a battle of nations. 4 Australians on board that boat, 1 Brit. He'd be the happiest Brit in sailing if he won here. But that's not a great tack. There's a lot of splashing, and it looks like the French have done a really nice tack as they're coming back from the right. Yes, it says it's a 21-metre lead to the Australians. This will close down as they come back together.
Can the French lay that left-hand gate? That's a big question too as they get towards the top.
Slingsby says, I've got us not crossing. That means the French should be ahead as we come back. It's now about whether the French are laying the windward gate. Let's listen on board. This is crucial moments.
Key cross coming up.
McMillan disagrees and says Australia's across. But they're both laying the windward marks. Australia are going to get there 2 or 3 seconds before the French, and it's about how they manage the bearaways. Lots of pressure on the flight controllers. Morvan did the last downwind beautifully. Can he do it again compared to Ed Howie's?
Rounding at the same time. This is all on. Place your bets, ladies and gentlemen. This is the last downwind leg before the reach the finish. It is all on between these 2 teams.
So 1 more leg to go in about 3 minutes of racing. Can the Americans come back? Will the Australians or the French take a hold of this race, or will someone make a high-pressure mistake?
Oh, this is unbelievable. You can see the white lines on the screen there dictating how far to go until the bottom. The Australians jibe. That was a beautiful jibe. They stayed on the foil. The dagger board lifts up. They now need to get it ripping, and the pressure goes over onto the French. The French have got to be the next boat to jibe. If you fall off the foils, you lose the win. It's all about crew work on the final downwind. Keep the boat in the air. Keep the boat ripping.
Another really key cross coming up here. The French will be the giveaway boat. Can they cross ahead of the Australians? Doesn't look like it right now. Let's see as we get down here.
Okay, Tom Slingsby on board the Australian said we're still ahead, but if he is on lay line, he's got a small advantage.
It's into this gate and then a quick blast to the finish line. This could be for the win right here.
This is the jibe to land the Australians in front of the French. Let's listen to the onboards. Will the French be able to use the down speed of the Australians to step past them?
No issue with him.
No issue with him is the call off board the Australians. And they're accelerating. That might have been the jibe that won the event.
Cool as a move of the day. Yep. And now the dirty wind coming off the sail of Australia SailGP. That could have been the move as the Americans unable to close the gap as they led at 1 point, now sitting in 3rd. And now it's Australia with a quick blast to the finish line. No more maneuvers needed for them as France in 2nd as they watch the Aussies get up to 60 kilometers an hour.
They did the worst jibe of the day on the first downwind to give up the lead. They did the best jibe of the day to win this event. Is light air's really your weakness, Tom Slingsby? Absolutely unbelievable race.
So the Aussies become the comeback kids at the Great Britain Sail Grand Prix, and the defending champions get their first overall win of the season.
What a made a bounce back from last in Taranto to first in Plymouth. And the French coming across the line in second. That is their second podium of season 2. Bravo, Billy Besson.
Hey, thanks, Rick. Cheers, mate. Nice, make it.
All three
celebration in Australia.
All three of these teams had made the final before in the last 2 events, and it was all about who was going to hold their nerve. We saw some real wobbles out there, didn't we? We saw the pressure, but when it counted right at the end, one more pressure jump. I love that the audio comms coming off the Australian boat were nice and calm. Slingsby sounded calm.
Did you hear that?
Got it done.
Slingsby saying the red mist came in a few times there, Matt. What does he mean by that?
Well, he's a red-headed man. He knows he's a fighter, literally. He loves to do a bit of boxing. I wouldn't want to get in the ring with him. And every time I guess that sort of red-headed Celtic blood in him sees the better of him, and he gets a little bit mad and crazy. But when it counted at the end, the red mist had gone, and he got the job done. Well done, Tom Slingsby and his Australian crew here winning in Plymouth.
The defending champions doing a fantastic job as they come back. It looked like they were out, barely made it in to the final, but what a performance by the Aussies.
A performance by the Aussies. I'm going to pick one guy out as my sailor on that boat, and that is Ed Powies. He stepped in here because of other crews' commitments elsewhere, with the Olympics and Kinley Fowler awaiting the birth of his second child. Ed Powies stepped in there. He's just rubbing his hands through his hair. He came on board as the flight controller. Arguably the hardest position to do in the light airs, and he has absolutely nailed it. Well sailed, Ed Powies, my man of the match.
So Australia bounces back in the waters of Plymouth to get the win at event number 3. Australia SailGP, your winners.
I don't know how we stayed in it.
It'll be an amazing night of celebration for the Aussies as they now turn their attention to Denmark, which is coming up in just a short amount of time. So the Aussies can celebrate now. But guys, let's go back to the moment of the day. This was critical for the Aussies and the win.